Welcome to the Boundless Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Renee, who also goes by the name of Peachyconprincess. Hello, Renee.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. How was your day?
It was great. It was a half day kind of at work, and they fed us. So those are always great days. I'm happy
That's,
for summertime.
that's perfect. What does your average cosplayer eat on a Friday afternoon?
Oh man, your average cosplayer probably at this time of season doesn't eat anything, but I had, where did we go for lunch? We had tacos.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Everyone loves tacos.
Yes.
So, for everyone who doesn't know here, you could just spell out your Instagram name.
Okay, I am at Peachyconprincess, PeachyConprincess
Perfect.
on Instagram, and I also have a page on Facebook, but I'm mostly active on Instagram. On Twitter, it's at PeachyConSocial. And it's also at Peachyconprincess on Twitch when I get on it.
Perfect. So yeah, everyone go follow her, check out some of her awesome cosplays, which we will be discussing here in a moment. So just to start things off, what got you into cosplay?
I went to Dragon Con in 2009, and I noticed how amazing everybody's outfits were and their costumes were and such high quality, and it made me realize that I could get into that. I've liked cartoons and anime and video games for a long time, so I wanted to explore that avenue for creativity myself. And for the next, now it's been 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the first maybe 5 or 6 years, I was really gung-ho on it, and I would actively be on my sewing machine all of the time. And then as I continued to, as the years went on, and I kind of honed in on what I really wanted to do at conventions, I slowed down a little bit on how much I was outputting specifically for cosplay and became more strategic. So I was planning it around more of a photo shoot or a panel I was doing, or just the theme of a particular event or for a volunteer event. So definitely have scaled down a lot since I started in 2009.
Very nice, very nice. So I can tell that since you've been doing sewing for such a very long time, what are some sewing tips for anyone who's just, been struggling or trying to get into it themselves?
So someone who was very instrumental in helping me understand my own sewing machine was a burlesque seamstress named Pinky Shear. And I owe a lot to her because she let me come to her house with my sewing machine and taught me as much as I needed to know about the basics, including what direction to put the bobbin in, what needles to use for what types of fabric, what types of thread to even use. All of those things are really important, and having them correct the first time will save you a lot of heartache going forward. Like, you don't want to try to be sewing on a really heavy material with a really light thread. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact, there are people who've gone to fashion school and have taken classes, and they could tell you more of the exact types of tools you're supposed to have. But I always preach to people in terms of any level of cosplay, do a little bit of research on the tools that you're using for the types of, other tools that you're using. So for the types of fabric, for the types of foam, what glue stick to what, what you can and cannot use hot glue for. Those things are so important because they're going to save you a lot of time and money if you just buy the right thing straight up. So I think that would be my best sewing or just crafting advice in general. Just because you have one major big tool doesn't mean that it is the end all and it can do every single thing you want with the very basics of what you want.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never personally tried sewing, and I'm only just now, I've largely been on the photography aspect, and I'm only just now getting into the actual cosplaying myself and the armor building and stuff. So maybe eventually I'll actually branch out into sewing, but if not, I definitely know who to come to.
I would not be that person because I am a bad commissionist. But it's honesty of knowing what you can and can do for yourself. I spent a lot of time pinning myself into cosplays for the first probably 4 or 5 years of my interest in the hobby. And there are people with great degrees, especially now that cosplay has become such a big deal, who know a lot more about fashion. They know about the best seam, the best closures,
Mm-hmm.
the best fabric types for things. A lot of people back in the day were using satin fabric for everything because it was shiny and it was cheap. But now you have heavyweights, and you have denim, and you have some amazing fabrics that are like dancewear fabrics, not the cheap kind, but four-way stretch that you can get online or at a lot of local stores, especially in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So these are much better resources so that you can do things right the first way.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in terms of like commissions, yeah, there's a lot of people and resources you can ask about, but YouTube is definitely your friend.
Yeah.
And there are also some really great, be careful about like who you would choose to kind of help make something for you, because there are great commissions out there, but there's also people who may think that they're really good and don't really they want to try it, and they
Yeah.
put some effort into it, but it comes so expensive to create and for you to make, and a friend may want to give you a discount. Sorry, I feel like I'm giving you
No, you're good.
the underbelly of cosplay, but it was a good point that came up that a lot of people ask me all the time. Oh, when I have a project to do, I'll ask you about it.
Uh-huh.
I'm not the person, but a person back in the day like Pinky Shear, or I can't really think of another seamstress right now, but that was their specific, that's what they love to do. They could measure you up, and they could put an outfit on you.
Mm-hmm.
So always and they knew how to do it within a good budget, or to tell you straight up how much it's going to cost. Because yeah, I've done commissions a couple times, and they turned out pretty good, but I probably lost money, and it was a lot of time spent going back and forth, and I'm not sure that the quality was as great as the person who I gave it to would have wanted for long term, because I'd make it for myself. But
Gotcha.
it's there are people definitely who can help, and lots of resources.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, what do you do for a living now?
I'm a social media manager at an agency. I've
Huh?
been working in social media for about 5-6 years now.
Ah, perfect.
Um, yeah, so anywhere between just posting or running ads, Facebook ads,
Mm-hmm.
posting onto Instagram, making content calendars. Yes, it is a real business. You could really make money off of that. And many corporations need it, but not everybody is doing it 100% correctly. But I enjoy it a lot. I really love the business side of social media.
Gotcha. So, how do you mix that in, doing the business with the social media and your actual cosplay? How do you blend the two? How do you find time to do each of them adequately?
You know, it's not, I personally don't do it as well as I probably should,
Mm-hmm.
because when I do social media for clients,
Mm-hmm.
they usually have a goal in mind, and they have a large budget to make sure that they're getting a lot of engagement from their customers,
Mm-hmm.
or at least reaching a lot of customers who have interest in that company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's say there's a pizza company, and they want to make sure that they reach a certain amount of customers or get a certain amount of likes in these particular demographics in this part of the country, because they have a lot of stores there. That's easy to pinpoint and do. And their goal is, again, maybe to get likes, or to just make sure that their brand is recognizable and known. And
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is way easier to do that, because you can run ads specifically to get people to like your page.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, which is where most people are right now, and is much visually more pleasing, as a whole, it gives people, even though there's articles saying both, it gives people a more pleasant feeling to be there versus a lot of the things that people can post intermittently on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to you can pay for likes on Instagram, but it's hard to pay for general likes on Instagram. I've tried.
Gotcha.
You can pay for likes on a picture, but in terms of follows, it's hard to pay for follows. So you're ultimately looking at trying really hard through probably another broadcast means, YouTube, Twitch, Patreon. You really have to use something else to draw people to your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that with a full-time job and a lot of other convention obligations,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a side of just being a little bit lazier and not having a really good call to action for fans of my own, I don't focus on that.
Gotcha.
I have run ads specifically on certain Instagram posts that I think would do really well in the hopes of getting a lot of followers from it. And I actually found I lost followers
Oh,
during that
wow.
campaign. Yeah, I got a lot of likes on that one picture,
Mm-hmm.
but my overall followers was steadily going down. It probably would have went down regardless whether or not I was running the ad.
Crazy.
But I could run an ad on Facebook and just see likes going up and up and up and up and up.
Hmm.
And while that's great for numbers, I have some clients, corporations who I see that have almost 100,000 followers on Facebook, but less than 2,000 followers on Instagram. And if that's where the future people are spending their time, there's got to be a way to build on that site. It's a lot, like I said, I love looking at it. I really like that I have an Instagram. I treat it more of a gallery.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even uploaded any pictures from MomoCon. That's how kind of distracted I've been. And I have a lot of pictures from MomoCon that either I took or other people took. And what I like to do on Instagram is post and fill the grid, as they say. I'm making air quotes, where I post 3 at a time. So I put a lot of effort into my posts, which then makes me feel like, it's more work. I gotta sit down and do this and really plan it out, when I really could just be posting content and it'd be up
Yeah,
there.
true.
But I think at the same time, again, I don't have a strong call to action. I like showing pictures, but I don't necessarily right now use my Instagram notoriety for anything beyond just showing that I went to an event or is at an event. I am very careful to not post during events because I want to enjoy an event. I take a lot of pictures, definitely selfies with people, but I found that social media, if you're going to use it as a tool for a lot of engagement or to push you to the next level of becoming an influencer, or allowing people to give you things, which is really donating to your Kickstarter or coffee accounts or Patreons. It's very lucrative, and it's a great way to get your name out there and to use kind of that Instagram fame.
Mm-hmm.
I am just a little bit too lazy to do that, and I just kind of rely on my job to allow me to do the things, and my other, again, con obligations and volunteering and things like that to kind of push me towards staying involved in conventions and cosplay. Cosplay is kind of like a nice tip of it's like the dessert. That's something that I can do and show off when I have the time at a convention, and it brings me a little bit closer, gives me time with other fans of those shows or media types.
Gotcha. So on that note, if someone came to you and asked you which social media platform should they use to grow their business, which way would you send them and what would you advise they do?
It really depends. It kind of depends on the business, but Instagram would probably be my first thing that I told them, just because statistically people are spending less time other places, including Snapchat, Facebook. Instagram's giving people, again, like the best quality experiences. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, Instagram is still owned by Facebook. So as long as they know that and they recognize that. But Instagram as a platform is where people are spending a lot more time. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff on TikTok, and I've been trying to play around with it myself. I've noticed it for a while, but I've only posted a couple of videos. But I see the integration of both. I don't see TikTok going away. So if you can use it occasionally to make some fun things that are just like short, quippy videos, I think it could be really beneficial to your content. But ultimately, Instagram as a whole has a lot of places posting on the timeline. Stories are a big deal. IGTV is still growing, and it's still becoming awesome. I've seen people put tutorials up there. I see people put ASMR videos up there, just covering events that they went to. So it's really a good space. And of course, YouTube and Twitch are wonderful if you have more long form content and just love talking. So I would recommend those. I don't know a platform yet that, aside from iPhone or I don't know, something for podcasting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of companies could, not just companies, but brands, if you want long form content, podcasting, if you don't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
So those are the places I would tell people, look into those. Get yourself consistent on one of those channels, so that you can really broadcast yourself and put yourself out there as not just a brand that sells things, but a professional and a knowledgeable part of any community.
Okay, that works. That works. So I was actually on your Instagram, and I noticed you have a good, almost 3,500 followers. And for, other POC cosplayers who may be struggling a bit, how did you get there, and what could they do to follow in your footsteps?
So as I mentioned before, thank you for thinking 3,500 is a lot. I have heard people say that, and I follow a lot of people who are 12, 30, 80,000, 100,000 followers deep. But of course, it's not the norm, or it is not the regular. There's a lot of,
Yeah,
if they're
yeah.
at that level, that they are at a much higher level of notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the main thing is be consistent
Mm-hmm.
with how you're posting. Don't be like me and take a week to post any pictures from an event that just happened. Not saying that that's terrible, but if your goal is to, for lack of better words, be Insta famous and to get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of followers, you have to be consistent, and you have to be putting out great, high quality content.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, you probably have to pander to the fans a lot.
What does
And
that
pander,
mean exactly?
that's probably not the best word, but if you know that She-Ra is a big deal right now, you should be putting out She-Ra cosplays. If you know
Gotcha,
that
gotcha.
Teen Titans is very recognizable, or Disney characters, you should be putting that out there most of the time. Not saying that you can't put out content that is original,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of amazing people of color. That sounds so weird to say out loud, but like POC cosplayers, who are putting out beautiful images in cosplay with their natural hair, with amazing makeup. So the costume is more closet cosplay, but the concept is very recognizable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's, Naruto or Bleach or My Hero Academia, just like the top level, like these are the top anime of our generation. They're they're looking at the very top popular things. And it's not
Yeah.
a bad idea to stick with the popular concepts on social. And people may or may not want to hear this or like hearing this, but if you see somebody who's doing really well on social and you think, hey, I could do that too, I want to kind of mirror that,
Mm-hmm.
people have really gotten ahead that way. But you have to keep your own integrity and your own originality. You don't want to just push out the exact same thing. You don't want to Nicki Minaj to Lil Kim it, or whoever she
Yeah,
like
I understand.
copies.
Yeah, I
Or
get
do
your
you?
reference.
Yeah, or do you?
Or
Because
do you?
look at Nicki Minaj now. But sometimes you just need to, it's need a reference or inspiration.
Yeah.
And but again, that consistency, that popularity, those are just key things that are guaranteed to get you seen, because people are already looking for that content. And as long as you put yourself in that, don't forget the hashtag
Mm-hmm.
correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see results. And one of the top videos that I posted was my Steven Universe wedding garnet. And it's a video where I'm like trolling around in the sand at at Beach City Con, soon to be Empire City Con. And I think like Estelle liked it, whoever runs her team. I don't know that she runs her own social media team. I feel like somebody likes some of the stuff for her, but maybe not. It may be her. Estelle liked it. I'm pretty sure Rebecca Sugar liked it. And like, these are the creators and like the voice of the show. And it just kept growing and growing. This was maybe last November.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, I've not got any record deals from it. No one's invited me to their conventions. I'm not like a guest level anything, but it was a really good feeling to know that my art and something I created was being seen. So yeah, those are the biggest things. And
Gotcha.
also note that Instagram is looking to kind of remove or hide how many likes particular posts get going forward. So don't always make it about the likes. Make it about what your goal is and why you're doing this. If your goal is to hit 10,000 likes so that you can become an influencer or be a guest at a convention and that's their minimum, then of course that's what you're going to want to do.
Yeah.
There's no harm in that. But if your goal is just to keep producing art because you have this originality and you have this love for what you're doing, then it almost doesn't matter what the likes are. You just want to make sure that you're showing the world your best you. So, I wish tons and tons of likes on everybody. I would love to have 10,000 likes because at that point I can put links into my Instagram stories without being a verified account. There's a reason behind that. I would love that. But then I don't know what necessarily I'd link to. It's just a different level of kind of like unlocking these features that are only available to higher level influencers on social. So hopefully that helped and no one's going to be like, ew, this girl's giving bad advice to copy people. I mean, I am, but I'm not. And also, I don't. So you have to take what it is, how it pertains to your life.
So on that topic, actually, I was wondering, being a POC cosplayer, it's a lot of times difficult to A, find cosplayers that look like you, and B, fit into a cosplay world that really just isn't made for you. Of course, we can, you're free to cosplay as anyone you want, but, cosplaying as a character that looks like you is, kind of difficult now. So with that idea in mind, what would you advise if I do want to become, a big name in the cosplay industry, but I'm trying to find cosplays that look like me, so it's easier for me to, get that, oh, you actually look like your character, or oh, you actually, are cosplaying accurately, as people like to say.
I would then, if that's someone's goal, and that is also their mindset, they have to change their mindset because Yaya Han is one of the top cosplayers. She changed the game. She commercialized and she can't think of the word, but she's the reason we have certain cosplay fabrics in Joann's. She made it accessible. And honestly, I don't think she looks very much like a lot of the characters that she cosplays. She just has an amazing talent for her fabrics, for fashion design, for costume design, for armor making, and she is very driven to that. Cutie Pie Sensei is also a cosplayer who is Black and does a variety of costumes in and out of, sometimes she'll color her skin for like Raven or Starfire, like kind of alien colors, but sometimes she'll just use her regular natural skin tone. And she's Black. She's been in the game for a very long time. Super sweet. And also amazing fabricator and costume designer. Trying to think of a couple more. There are some who, again, like not just your skin tone, but your body type. People are like unsure if that's going to be accepted in the community. Tranquil Ashes is a plus size cosplayer, and anytime I've seen her costumes, it's been amazing, the work that she puts into it. And she can speak a lot on trying to find a cosplay or a character that looks anything like her in video games, cartoons, things like that. But she still presses through and has that drive to be creative. And those are what you're going to need in order to stand out and to get far. The doubt's going to be there. Yeah, the doubt's going to be there. And sometimes the hatred from other people is also there. But you have to push through that because this is your art. If this is just something you casually want to do for, minor fame or just to get attention, there's no problem with that. But it's not going to sustain a passion that you actually have for creating an art for yourself. And it's going to be harder for you to kind of push back any of the resistance. Also, I'd like to add that in the last 10 years, I could probably count on fingers and toes how many Black cosplayers I came across while I was on the convention floor at some of the major Atlanta conventions. Today, we have entire POC photos, multiple sometimes throughout the weekend. And you, in any block, in any area, you will see Black cosplayers. You will see plus size cosplayers. You will
Yep.
see cosplayers with disabilities who are not letting those things stand in their way.
Hmm.
And so now is a great time to join a community like that, because you don't have to worry about feeling isolated. And there
Hmm.
have been a lot of cosplayers who have really pushed through that. Not saying that they should be thanked, or we should be thanked, or we did this, but just like we've gone through those feelings of scarcity and isolation, and looking for other people like us, and making the jokes like, oh, we're like the 6 Black people here, to now where we keep inviting more and more people in, saying like,
Uh-huh.
hey, you know that there's a whole DragCon Black cosplayer group
Yeah.
that fills up an entire stairwell.
Hmm.
There were multiple at MomoCon, African American and Black cosplay groups, and just even in any cosplay group that isn't necessarily highlighted just for a specific race, we're there. So you'll find us, you'll find your common people, you'll find Black people in a ton of places. So, but it's still hard sometimes, I know, to push past those feelings, but
Yeah.
just know that you are not alone, and there have been people who've been doing that for very many years, and you're at one of the best times to feel included in almost any convention or cosplay community group. So I just invite people to look for those particular groups and start there, and not worry about how you think others are going to perceive your cosplay. Put your best work out there, and it's going to be supported.
Gotcha, gotcha. It's funny that you actually mentioned MomoCon. I must have missed you because I was there.
Oh, I am I'm a director at MomoCon, so there's like a
Uh,
room that I'm in, and this particular year I was very adamant about getting out of the room and enjoying certain things, but I also had 5 hours of programming that I was hosting, 4 panels that turned into 5 panels. I moderated a panel.
hmm.
I had a couple photo shoots that I made sure to go to. So I was most likely just in one spot, and
Gotcha.
occasionally shot out and shot back from that spot for multiple times during the weekend. But yeah, I'm the director of media relations there, and again, I do some panels, and it's just also huge. We hit almost 40,000 people this year.
Wow.
We have to
I didn't.
move to yeah, that's passes. That's not just feet on the floor. So we're moving to a bigger space next year. I don't know if you're familiar. It's still at the George World Congress Center, but it's the B Hall. So we're able to sustain
Yeah.
more people coming through. So it may be harder to find people, but I definitely am there as many years as they'll keep me coming back.
Yeah, I missed, unfortunately, a lot of people. I was like, oh, I'm going to meet up with you. And I stood in one place the whole time because, I do photography. And I was
Mm.
outside on the front lawn for the first like 6 or 7 hours taking pictures. And then the second day I was inside. And I met a few people, that I knew, but most were, I don't know, off doing their thing. And everyone's just like, oh, we missed you after the con. I'm like, well, I was in one spot the whole time. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I have a whole schedule including what cosplays and outfits I wear for particular days.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
that makes me very happy to check off at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend. But it happens. Like, and if you don't schedule time with people, it's like, RIP that meetup, because
Yeah.
you're most
Yeah.
likely going to miss people. There are people like you and possibly me who we know we're going to be in one place for most of the time. And then
Yeah.
there are people who are dashing back and forth consistently. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. I'm not sure how much time you still had left. Could you still chat with us for a little bit?
yeah, I'm actually on my way out right now, but I'm obviously got the phone, so I'm pretty good to go still.
Perfect, perfect. So I just end it with one last question. You've been giving us some great information, and even information that I need to talk with you about, maybe even afterwards. But
Mhm.
who do you look up to in the cosplay community?
Ooh, this is a good question. um, who do I look up to in the cosplay community? There have been people when I first moved to Georgia and from I've lived here, but I went away for college and came back and didn't really have a lot of friends. And again, Pinky Shear, who took me in and helped me learn my sewing machine that I'd had for many years before, but was just having a lot of trouble. And a lot of people who were in a show or a troupe called Big City Burlesque. This is, again, this is like 2008, 9, 10. Their confidence to get on stages and be in costumes, these ridiculous sometimes costumes, and then take off the costumes, was very much empowering. I enjoyed the time that I was able to learn from them and create with them. And I think that there'd be way too many people to shout out, but because specifically you're focused on people of color, Lola Le Soleil is an amazing goddess of a human being, and she is a fantastic burlesque performer. She gives amazing face on stage, and it's just great. And everyone who I've met through her or because of her has been super helpful in just keeping me confident. And I have a lot of friends now who, like I said, it'd be hard to call anyone out because I feel like I'd be missing somebody. But I watch people like my friend Tanisha, who's Thrill Builds, and she manages convention work as well as, you know, a podcast and Twitch streaming and does cosplay and builds armor. Just, it's wonderful to see, and she's, you know, been cosplaying longer than even I have. And it's great to watch women like that who have pushed through those times when there was very few of us, Black women specifically, probably in the cosplay community and in the convention scene. And we're owning stages, we're running conventions, we're still doing still doing what we enjoy doing in terms of playing dress up. And we don't care that other people break us down or think that it's weird. Of course, now people think it's awesome. They're all into the nerd community and oh, I really like this too. I see that movie. You're like, oh, okay. But just so many Black women and women of all colors and ages who have just been doing this for a long time, who've maintained this, made money off of this, or just done it as their side gig. And it makes me very happy to know that Atlanta's got such a great community full of people. So them specifically, I will call out, and I'm sure when I hang up, I'll be like, crap, I should have said such and such.
That's always how it goes.
Right. But yeah, they've been, if I haven't named them already for any other number of reasons, they probably are also a great influence to me. There's just tons of people I follow online who I just love to see their art come through and want to make sure that they keep doing it. And I do it because there's somebody else or another little girl or another young woman, young adult who's growing up thinking that they can't do something. That's why I want to continue doing this and hopefully being an inspiration or helping people find more inspiration in it, because it's fun. Like, I don't do it as much as I used to, and I like to put a lot of effort into the ones that I do now. Quality over quantity is kind of it, but even my quality is not that great. But it's still like I do it, and it's something I can check off that makes me happy and sets me apart from, the Mondays or the normies of the world, but also gives me a lot of fulfillment. And so hopefully that helped answer that.
Yeah, it definitely did. Definitely. So, well, I know today was a short interview, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Renee. Yeah,
no problem. And thank you for thinking of me. I think Dee was the one who...
Yep, Dee Seabrook shouted you out.
Yeah, she, now I got to return the favor. But no, I think I probably already did, which is why she recommended. But, thank you for taking the time to reach out to me. And I hope that I can run into you at a future Atlanta convention.
Definitely. I'll definitely be at DragonCon and AWA. So.
Woo! I'll be at DragonCon.
Perfect. Yeah, we definitely have to link up then.
Yeah. I am director at that one too. So animation track, if anybody is interested in cartoons. I don't know if anyone heard that Voltron guests are going to be there. Kimberly Brooks, who is the Black Girl Magic. Amazing. Plus, we have some Ruby voice actresses who are coming too. So plug. If you're coming to Dragon Con, you want to see some of those panels. We have those happening in like main stages, and a lot of things going on in the Hilton is like the main space for animation tracks. So come see animation track panel programming.
Nice. Okay, well, everyone heard that, so if you don't make it there, that's on you at this point. All right, well, just wanted to say thanks again for taking the time to speak with us, and that will do it for today. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and until next time, stay boundless. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.